All right, you're listening to Lunchtime on 97.9. I am Kristina, and with me today is my special co-host, Brock Wagoner.
What's up?
All right. Brock is here in the house.
Woo, woo.
All right, we are going to, we're talking to him. We talked to him about how he got started. He played with his dad's band. He's a Colby guy, loves his hometown. Let's talk about now, like, a couple of the acts that you have played with. I mean, you've played with some big acts, Brock. You've been very lucky.
I've been very, very, very fortunate to play with the acts that I have. My very first massive, in quotes, opening gig was Mark Chestnut, and that was in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. And I will say I don't do a ton of marketing for myself as far as an artist. I don't have an agent. I don't do any of that. Most of the stuff, honestly, I've been fortunate enough to have fall in my lap. I got in a good relationship with a lot of people, and again, like we were talking off the air, it's about networking.
It is.
And most of the shows that I have played for have literally fallen into my lap. So I'm very fortunate in that aspect. Don't get me wrong, like I feel like there's been a lot of work that's gone into this, which has been awesome to see it kind of now start to come to fruition. But yeah, with Mark Chestnut was my first opener, and then I've played several headlining gigs by myself, and then I got in with Phil when we opened up the event center, Phil Vassar, and then I've had Goodnight, Ricochet, and Shenandoah, and Blackhawk, and Ian Munsick, and Logan Mize, and I mean, I could go on and on. It's just been amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it you say it falls in your lap, but I mean, it fell in your lap for a reason, Brock, and that's because you're good.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that. You know, like I said, I feel like this has kind of been a long time coming, especially with all the miles I've traveled and hotels I've stayed in, and it's kind of like the same tune to every artist, you know. But
it's a hustle game.
Yeah,
I mean, every single artist I've talked to, it is a hustle game.
Yeah, and you really do. You have to sell yourself but you also have to be confident in what you do. And I feel like with every show you get better and better and understand your craft a lot more. And the more shows you play, the more you have underneath your belt. And you know, it's obviously great for a resume when you can tell venues, hey, you know, I've played with these guys before. It sure helps boost sure, we'd love to have you. You know, it's not some podunk kid from Kansas, you know, trying to make a name, you know.
Just playing on the street corner.
That's right, yeah. 4th and Franklin, baby.
Right? As I always say, you'd be on the street corner, people would be throwing money. They'd be like, keep your clothes on!
Yeah, I
know. All right. Well, you talked about this artist coming up next. You played with him opening up the Colby Event Center. Yeah. How was that?
It was awesome, man. A great experience, you know, just to have something super progressive in this town, you know, to open up for basketball games and concerts. And obviously we've had several concerts here, and it's been great. You know, I feel like we've always starved for live music around these parts, and so it's so awesome to have it here. So
agree.
Yeah.
Agree. All right. Well, this is who he opened up for. It's Phil Vassar, and this one is Carlene. Thanks for listening to Lunchtime on 97.9. It is 12:31 Central Time, 11:31 in the Mountain Time.
It's going to be so tricky covering that Mountain Time, Central Time.
Well, that's what I was talking to Quinn about it the other day. I'm like, could you imagine living somewhere where you don't have to worry about that?
Yeah, I was talking to the guys when we were playing in Weston this weekend. I was like, yeah, we're on Mountain Time. They're like, because like most of them have traveled, you know, the entire country. But I'm like, yeah, we're on Mountain Time, so we got to be there at this time. They're like, so what time is that Central again? I'm like, what's this time? They're like, oh, okay. I was like, just remember they're an hour behind us. Oh, okay.
Right. Every time I plan something, I go, I'm okay. Okay, I have to leave by this time to make it there by that time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like the pickup that we were in had just like the regular time, does not change.
Does not change.
Yeah,
right.
So like we're like, oh my gosh, are we late? And I'm like, no, guys, remember this one just stays the same because they're looking at their phone and like, uh-oh. Like, we're late, and I'm like, no, we're good. We're in good shape.
For sure. So, did you get to hang out with Phil Vassar when you were...
I didn't much. Like, flights were screwed up with my guitar player and stuff, so, like, he flew into Dallas, and his bags went to Garden City, but his flight didn't, and so it was really, really weird. So, I had to fly him into Hayes, so he went from Dallas to Chicago to Hayes, and he showed up like 45 minutes with his luggage before we played.
Oh, no.
So, like, we were setting up and everything, and so, like, he was on, his flight left from, like, after he got everything figured out, it was like 2 a.m. His flight left from Dallas at 5 a.m. So by the time he got a hotel
Right.
and an Uber and all that stuff,
Right.
it was like 3 in the morning. So
Right.
he's like, I got an hour and a half sleep, and he was a complete zombie. And
Uh-huh.
so like when we were done playing, I sent him and the other guitar player that we had home. I was
Right.
like, you guys, we'll tear this down. I was like, you guys go get sleep, because we had another gig the next day in Kearney.
Oh, that's right.
So, which Kearney was nuts, because that was Cody Johnson was in town. And so
now, was that at Joe's Honky Tonk?
no, we played at Joe's.
Okay.
But he was,
that's right.
He was at the Viero Center. Well, the ice rink melted, and with all the electrical, they canceled the show. And so everybody got word that there were live bands at Joe's Honky Tonk. And so everybody, it was one in, one out. At Joe's
So,
Honky
like,
Tonk.
secretly, like, yes, ice.
Yes,
melting.
I know, it was great. And like, we were labeled the official after party.
Right.
And so, it was going to be packed afterwards no matter what. But since that, I mean, it was, again, one in, one out. And there was rumor that Cody was coming to Joe's.
Oh, right.
But they had a show in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And so they just got an early trip.
They just headed out early.
Yeah, which was a bummer. But one of his openers, Kyle Park, who's a Texas guy, called me and he was like, hey, man, he's like, we'd love to play. I'm like, we'll play for an hour and a half. You guys come on and play after us. It's like, I'm totally down for that. Totally down for that. But as of now, it's still the largest crowd that Joe's Honky Tonk has ever had.
Wow.
And I was like, it was a
That's
blast.
impressive,
It
yeah.
was so much fun.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Okay, we have 30 seconds,
Ooh.
and then we go into Parmalee.
Yes.
All right, that is Phil Vassar, and you're listening to Lunchtime on 97.9. I am Kristina, and with me today is my co-host, Brock Wagoner.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Woo, woo, woo. And we were just talking about some of the people he plays with, and he's been fortunate and to play with some really big names and to do some really fun venues.
Yes.
Yes. And so I want to talk about this next one that we have coming up. You actually played at the Fox Theater, and you've been there a couple times.
I've been there several times, yeah.
Right, and we both love the Fox Theater.
We love it. I love
Right?
it. You know, Dustin and Laney, they do such a great job about getting good quality acts in there. And they, as an artist, they just treat us like gold. I mean, to have a venue like that in our rural area is like a diamond in the rough.
Well, I tell people all the time, like, Hayes is not that far. Like, I do the trip up and back.
Yeah.
You know, and you go and you see live music, you see some great names, and people, maybe they're not the humongous names, but they're people who are up and coming.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've had people that were on tour with Cody Johnson and all that stuff, you know. And it's great to have the Fox because they are a perfect central route between Kansas City and Denver.
They are. They are.
And, you know, they can get them at a decent price because they're not planning on playing the show. They've already got 2 dates booked for their money. They can get them at a discount price, and it's the same exact show.
It is.
That you would see, and you would pay an astronomical amount for tickets. But you can go to the Fox and pay like maybe $30 to see the exact same act.
$25, $30.
Yeah.
And it's a great venue. It's a wonderful place. And like you said, the owners, the management, the security, everybody is awesome there.
Yes.
Like, I've never had a bad experience there. Love everybody there. So there's our shout out to the Fox, right?
Fox Theater, love you guys.
Right? P.S. You guys owe us a beer.
yeah, this is free advertising.
So this next song that we're coming up, you actually opened for at the Fox Theater. That's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
And I have to giggle a little bit because you picked this song, and I saw them, and I saw you. And actually, this is what got me onto the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
Is I saw you post, hey, I'm going to be opening up for Parmalee.
Yeah.
At the Fox Theater, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, Parmalee's had like several #1 hits on country radio.
Right.
And like for them to be in Hayes America was insane.
Oh, and they had an amazing show.
Yes, they were incredible.
So fun.
Yeah, and I mean the you know it's crazy. Everybody's like, well, sometimes maybe some of these artists, yes, they can be like absolute jerks. But most of the time, like even every single one that I've been part of, like the Fox, or I've had the pleasure to open up for, besides maybe a couple, have just been amazing to be around and just to feed off of them and chat with them and see how their things are going and if they have any advice and stuff like that. So I've been very fortunate with the acts that I've had that have just been super, super, you know, open and able to talk and have a conversation with, which is great. And Parmalee was one of them. I mean, I was able to talk with them, you know, 30, 45 minutes before a show. They were just super, super down to earth. And again, like you and I were talking, they're just people.
Right.
You know? They're just people, and it's really cool to see like where they come from and how they got their start.
Right, and it's their brothers and a cousin.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. To have that success is really cool, and just to be a part of that show was really, really sick.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I had to giggle. My friend and I were walking in, and there's these 3 guys walking by, and they're like, "Hey, the party's in here. Come on in." Yeah. It was Parmalee.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "That was Parmalee." She's like, "Nuh-uh." I'm like, "Yep." Yeah. It was. They invited. We got a personal invite.
Yeah, they were just great dudes and just loved to hang out and were really appreciative of like the people that came. So that's always good to see as an artist. That's support for a gig like that is just like, are they there for the money? Or are they there because the people are buying tickets? And you could really tell that Parmalee was the type that, thank you so much for buying tickets.
Right. They loved their people.
This is our way of saying thank you. So
right.
Come hang out with us.
Right.
You know.
Perfect. So real quick, we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Midwest Music Festival in Kearney, October 13th and 14th. Yep. And tell us again, Brock, how you can win.
You can text the word Midwest to 785-460-0790 and be entered into a chance to win tickets for the weekend up at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska.
And who's all going to be there?
Oh, gosh. A lot of local artists. But Friday night, the headliner is Frank Ray. And then Saturday night is Jared Neiman. So I get to hang out with Jared again.
Right? So. Kansas boys night.
Kansas boys taking over Kearney, Nebraska, baby.
That's right. All right. Well, after this song and some commercial breaks, we're going to hear Brock play his guitar, and he's going to play a brand new one for us and another one of his favorites. But right now, it's Take My Name. It's Parmalee. Parmalee was like, I think they were maybe in the lobby signing stuff prior to their concert, doing a meet and greet with everybody in there. I mean, I think anybody could have went. I mean, when they walked by and said hi to us, because it was like,
I heard, and I don't know, for some reason I read a story like they had a gunman come, like right when they were like just starting, they had like a gunman come on their bus. Like one of them was shot. I don't know if this
not in Hayes.
Yeah, not in Hayes. But like right when they were getting shot, or right when they were getting started, like I think they had someone come on their bus and like open fire. I was like, that is crazy. Like they're under the radar so bad when it comes to that stuff. You know, just for people to make news and stuff like that. It's tough to be a celebrity, I would imagine, just because you have the media.
Well, do you feel like? I mean, this is something that I guess I was like. I mean, you're just Brock to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like. And I mean, I'll joke around with you when I see you. I'm like, oh my God, Brock right there, you know. Like, But I mean, do you feel like that celebrity status? Do you feel? I mean, people are they doing that some for you?
It's really cool.
And does it make you feel weird?
Yeah, you know, it's weird because like some of the younger kids that like have seen me play before, or like I've DJ'd their middle school dance and like played some of their songs. Like they'll come up to me and like give me a high five and say it's really good to see you or something like that. And to me, that's more or less the reason why I do this is just to let kids know that even though you're in a small town, your dream is not out of reach. You know, I'm living proof of that small dream. Granted, I haven't made it to a #1 hit on the radio, but that's not out of reach for me, and it never will be. No,
it's not.
Yeah, and so that's probably my favorite thing is and even running into Hayes. You know, like there's sometimes I'll go to the mall and be like, hey man, I saw you at the Fox. I'm like, oh sweet. So it's neat. It's really cool. But I love meeting new people and just knowing where they come from, and if like the way I meet them is like at a concert, like for me is just like tenfold way better.
Right.
Just because we're surrounding ourselves by something we both love and we have kind of a common interest. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm very humbled with the response that I've had from just being an opener. You know, like I always tell people, my goal as an opener is to tell that venue, holy crap, we need to have him with his band as our headliner. That's my goal. That's always been my goal is to make sure that this kind of sounds bad, but make them eat their words that, oh man, I should have had him as a headliner before. But you know, you gotta pay your dues. You have to have goals. You gotta pay your dues. You know,
you have to have goals, and if you don't have goals, how can you reach them?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and as an independent artist, you always have to pay your dues. You know, you're gonna do that. You know, I started doing $50 gigs at weddings and stuff like that, and you just gotta slowly climb that ladder until you know it comes to a point where like it can be a business, and I've learned that very fast due to taxes. But but you know, but yeah, you do. There's a fine line between you know, being a local artist and
Right.
making sure that you're doing everything right. But I never want to turn into that person that's just a complete jerk.
I don't think that's possible, Brooke.
And I just love people too much. I mean, there's so many people, like gigs that I'll play, that they're like, oh man, there's not going to be very many people here. And I always tell them, honey, I can play to a telephone pole. I was like, you give me a mic and a guitar, I'm set. Doesn't matter how many people are there.
Yeah, right. Okay, you might want to get ready, my friend.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because you're going to be up next.
Sweet.
So we got a couple of ads here.
Good enough.
You'll be good in a minute. What are you going to play first?
Favorite song?
Okay. And then your new one after that.
Yep.
Okay.
And the new one after that, yeah.
And I will let you intro it.
Sweet. Sounds
Okay? Lunchtime on 97.9. So we have this one, and then we'll do the VRO, and then we'll be in.
Sounds groovy. I love listening to Big D and Bubba.
You like Big D and Bubba?
I love it. I love it. I think it's sweet how they're like on all like, you know, like U.S. Navy ships and stuff like that. I think that's so sweet.
It is. You're supposed to say, Kristina, your show's my favorite.
Well, I love listening to it.
Thanks. I mean, am I not bigger than Big D and Bubba?
Well, I mean.
All right, 10 seconds.
Well, hey everybody, this is Brock Wagoner and you're listening to Lunchtime on 97.9. I'm your co-host with Kristina and we're hanging out here in the studio. I'm so honored to be here. I'm going to play some live music for you.
He is. He's going to play some live music for us right here.
Live music, yeah. So
here.
This is a song that I wrote in the shower. 20 minutes. For me, songwriting is really weird.
And 20 minutes you wrote
20
this
minutes.
song?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
While you're in the shower, like, did you write it down somewhere, or was it just in your head?
It's kind of like right in the fog of the No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, what? How'd that work?
there's not a musician that I don't know that has never like stepped out of the shower and like got on their phone and just like started plugging in stuff like when something hits them. That's exactly what happened. And so like I literally paused my shower for 20 minutes and then hopped back in the shower to finish my shower. So, but this is probably one of my favorite songs I've ever written.
Yay.
Which is a plug because this one's called Favorite Song.
Okay, here we go.
Well, hey girl, what you doing tonight? How about to go for a drive? Where we go, I don't care as long as I can see the wind in your hair. Driving up down the old back roads. Where we stop and nobody knows. Doesn't matter how near or how far. It doesn't matter where we are. 'Cause you're my favorite song. Turn you up loud. Blaring out my speakers while I'm driving around town. And just when I think it's about to end, to turn her on back and play it again. Ooh, got you stuck in my mind. Makes me want to listen to you all the time. Ooh, girl, you know there ain't nothing wrong with listening to my favorite song. Come on, baby, let's ride. You pretty little girl sitting by my side. How fast you wanna go? Just whisper in my ear and let me know. 'Cause girl, I can go about 110. You're better than a song that they play on XM. I wanna turn you on and plug you in, yeah. 'Cause you're my favorite song. Turn you up loud. Play right out my speakers while I'm driving around town. Just when I think it's about to end, turn her on back and play it again. Stuck in my mind, makes me wanna listen to you all the time. Ooh, girl, you know there ain't nothing wrong. 'Cause you're my favorite song. Turn you up loud, play right out the speakers while I'm driving around town. Just when I think it's about to end, turn her on back and play again. Ooh, got stuck in my mind. to my favorite song.
Right there is Brock Wagoner,
Yeah.
right here in our Hot Country 97.9 studio. And I forgot to mention, we're live on Facebook right now.
We are live on Facebook.
We are. So if you are, you want to see Brock play.
Yeah. On Facebook.
He's on Facebook
Yeah,
live right now.
that's right.
Right. All right. And so, Brock, you said you played two for me today.
I am gonna play two for
What
you.
do you have next?
The second one is a new song. I have not stepped in my studio yet, but I will. This is a song that I wrote. So by day, I'm a car salesman at MC Auto, and I do have to do this.
And there's a plug.
There is a plug. Yes, Jason Mader, my boss, has been one of the biggest supporters of my music since the day I started. And I cannot thank him enough for allowing me to pursue my dream. And so, Jason Mader, thank you so much for all the support you give me with my family and everything. And also, if you're in the market for a great pre-owned vehicle, go to MC Auto Outlet. View our website at mcautooutlet.com. But,
All right, yeah, right. He's got to pay the bills, though.
Yeah, you know. So, but this is a song that I wrote actually delivering a vehicle to a customer. I was driving and I was like, I read somewhere it said like leave the light on, and I'm like, man, that'd be a really good tune, you know. So I started thinking about like what it would be like if like someone's heartbroken and they broke up with somebody and they're like, oh man, hopefully she comes back. Well, I guess I'll leave the porch light on just in case. So this is one that I wrote called I'll Leave the Light On.
All right, Brock.
I really need to tune this bad boy. We'll get her close.
This is real life, y'all.
That's right.
He's live.
Trust me, I do this on stage too. All right. Close enough.
Okay.
I thought that what we had was going strong. A love no one would push away. Turns out I was wrong. But you tore my whole world apart when you said you had a change of heart. So when you decide you're done being gone, well, I'll leave the light on, praying you'll come running back. You'll apologize, wonder why you ever left the love we had. Please, baby, come on. I'll do whatever it takes to make you see that my heart is your home. Well, I'll leave the light on. My friends don't come around here anymore, 'cause all I want to do is stay home and look out my front door. Wishing you would turn around and pull off that highway and see those headlights in my driveway in the dead of night. Hell, even at the break of dawn, I'll leave the light on, praying you'll come running back. You'll apologize, wonder why you ever left the look we had. Please, baby, come on. I'll do whatever it takes to make you see that my heart is your home. Well, I'll leave the light on, wondering where I went wrong. Well, I beg and plead that someday you'll see I'm right where you belong. So I'll leave the light on, praying you'll come running back. You'll apologize, 'cause you know that I'm the best you've ever had. So please, baby, come on. I'll do whatever it takes to make you see that my heart is your home. Oh, to make you see that my heart is your home. Well, I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. I'll leave the light on. Yeah.
I love that one.
Thank you. I am really, 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 really stoked to get in the studio and record that one. I've got incredible ideas for it.
So are you going to Nashville?
No, I'll do it in my studio.
You'll do it in your studio here? So do you, I mean, you play the keyboards, play the guitar. What else do you play?
I play drums. Drums is actually my first instrument.
Drums is your first instrument?
Yeah.
I probably knew that.
Yeah. I was a drummer forever, and then when I decided again that I was going to be a frontman in a band, I knew I'd have to learn to play guitar. So I learned to play guitar, and my dad gave me all the ropes that I needed to know as far as when it came to piano and guitar.
Right.
Solely the Nashville number system. Instead of playing chords that are letters, we play chords that are numbers. So once you figure out what key you're in, say you're in the key of G, the G is the one chord. So it's actually a lot of math. But it makes the song super easy to learn once you know the Nashville number system. It's super, super awesome. But yeah, so on the Thomas County Line remake that I did, I played everything but lead guitar, and that's pretty much it. I did bass, keys, drums, acoustic guitar.
You're too crazy.
Vocals, and all that
You're
stuff.
too crazy. 8 seconds. This was a fast one.
All good.
All right, we are back. This is Lunchtime on 97.9. I am Kristina with my co-host, Brock Wagoner. Right before that break, we heard him play a couple songs, including his new one. And he was just telling me, I can't wait to get into my studio. And if you're live on Facebook, you already heard this part because, you saw that part. And I said, your studio in Nashville?
No, I have a hometown studio here right in my backyard. It's actually behind my parents' house, so I probably shouldn't say that due to theft. But it's locked. We're fine. I actually record most of my stuff. Besides the EP I did in Nashville, everything else Wasted, the Thomas County Line remake, my cover of So Much for Pretending with Brian White, those are all done in my home studio.
So do you play all the instruments then?
Most of the time. For Wasted, I actually did something different. I tracked bass and keys and acoustic guitar, but normally I drum. I actually reached out to a buddy that I had run into in my time in Nashville that actually plays for Scott Stapp and Kurt Dimer right now. His name's Dango. It's a sick name. I love it.
Okay, is it a real name?
That's his real name.
Name.
Yeah.
Dango.
Yeah.
Okay.
And phenomenal drummer, and has his own studio. And so I actually reached out to him. I was like, man, I normally play drums, but I was like, I'd love somebody else's take on this. And so he's like, yeah, man. And a lot of the times, especially when I record, obviously, I'm a real good rhythm guitar player, but if you ask me to play lead, no thanks. I'm not that good. I am a glorified guitar player. But,
whatever.
I always, it's really cool, especially nowadays with technology. Everybody, I can shoot over the song idea with a backtrack drum beat real quick and acoustic guitar in my voice, and I can send them that song, and I'll have my electric guitar player cut it in Nashville. The drums will be cut in Nashville, and they send me files via email, and I can drop them straight into my recording software.
That's super cool.
It's super, super handy.
That's super cool. So, okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's 12:57.
Oh my gosh, it is flown.
I told you the hour goes so fast, and so I think we're gonna actually go into the 1 o'clock hour. Are you okay with that? Just a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, because we still got stuff a little bit to talk about, and we don't want to give away these tickets.
Yeah, we got to.
We got to give away these tickets. So it's the Midwest Music Festival in Kearney, October 13th and 14th. This is your last chance to be entered in to win 2 tickets to both Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay, in
Big
Kearney.
weekend.
It is a big weekend.
It's a brand new festival.
It's a brand new festival. It's out at the is it Buffalo
County Fair?
Okay, right. Yep. Buffalo County.
Yeah.
And headlining is Frank Ray on Friday night. He's absolutely incredible. And then Saturday night is Jared Neiman. But opening for Jared is our own Kansas boy, Brock Wagner.
Right. Kansas
Brock
boys
Wagner.
are taking over Nebraska.
Text the word Midwest to 785-460-0790. And speaking of Jared Neiman, let's go ahead and play a little Drink to That All Night.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do that. Now, remember, text the word Midwest, 785-460-0790 to win your pair of tickets to see this guy right here.